Deep in a quiet valley, far away from cities, cars, and noise, there was a wide, gentle mountain with a soft round top. This wasn't the kind of mountain that felt sharp or scary. It was the sort of mountain that looked like a giant had placed a pillow on the earth and covered it with green moss and flowers. Inside that mountain, there was a big, warm cave, and inside that cave lived a very small, very sleepy baby dragon named Ollie. Ollie was not like the dragons from loud stories, the ones that roared at the sky and blew giant flames that scared knights and kings. Ollie was soft and round, with chubby little cheeks and tiny claws that were more tickly than dangerous. His scales were a gentle mint green, sprinkled with specks of silver that sparkled whenever he moved. His wings were small and floppy, almost like a baby bat's wings, still growing and still learning how to stretch, but the most special thing about Ollie was his fire. His fire wasn't big or wild. It was small and sleepy, just like him. Whenever he tried to breathe out a big burst of fire like grown-up dragons, what came out instead were soft, glowing puffballs, little clouds of light that floated lazily in the air like dandelion fluff made of warm starlight. Ollie didn't mind, though, that he actually liked his sleepy fire. It made his cave feel cozied out. Ollie's cave was not dark and frightening. It was warm and homelike. The walls were smooth, with soft curves, as though the stone itself had decided to be kind. On the floor, a patch of moss grew so thick and fluffy that it felt like a giant green blanket under his paws. Little glowing crystals grew in the corners, shining like nightlights that never went out. Ollie's bed was a big nest made from dried grass, soft ferns, and a pile of old dragon feathers that his mother had shed long ago. They were deep gold with red tips, and they cradled his little body perfectly when he curled up each evening, just before the stars blinked into the sky. Ollie's mother came to check on him. Her name was Lyra, and she was a full-grown dragon with shimmering emerald scales and long, graceful wings. Her eyes glowed like gentle lanterns, and her voice was soft and slow, like a lullaby hidden in words. On this particular evening, the sky outside the cave mouth was brushed with sleepy colors, soft orange, gentle pink, and a hint of purple. A breeze drifted in, carrying the smell of pine trees, whetstone, and the distant song of a waterfall. Lyra lowered her head to peek into Ollie's nest. "Ollie," she said softly, "it's almost nightfall. Time to stretch your wings." Ollie was half buried in his feather nest, one chubby hind leg sticking out, his little tail curled like a comma. His eyes were closed, and he was snoring the tiniest snore, a sound like a sleepy kitten sighing into a pillow. Lyra smiled. "Always sleepy, my little ember." She nudged his nest gently with her nose. Ollie's eyes fluttered open, hazy and slow. A tiny puff of glowing smoke escaped his nostrils, not gray smoke, but soft yellowish mist, like the inside of a lantern. 5 more minutes," he mumbled drowsily. Lyra chuckled, and the sound echoed warmly through the cave. "If you sleep now, you won't be able to see the stars wake up," she reminded him. "And tonight they're supposed to be especially twinkly. The night river is passing overhead." At that, Ollie blinked more fully. The night river was what dragons called the big silver band in the sky that humans named the Milky Way. To dragons, It looked like a river of light where starfish swam and glittering lanterns floated along the current. Ollie loved the night river. He slowly pushed himself up, the feathers of his nest clinging to his scales. He rubbed his eyes with both tiny paws, his wings giving a lazy flap. Okay, he yawned, his mouth opening wide. Out slipped a small, glowing puff of light, a little sphere of sleepy fire that drifted upward and bumped into the cave ceiling before gently fading away in a shimmer. Lyra watched it with amused eyes. "Your fire is getting stronger," she said kindly. Ollie drooped a little. "It just looks sleepy," he murmured. "Sleepy fire is still fire," Lyra replied. "And some fires are meant for warmth, not for roaring." Ollie thought about that. He didn't want to scare anyone with his fire, anyway. He liked warm things, soft things, quiet things. He slid out of his nest and waddled toward the cave entrance beside his mother. Outside, the evening air was cool and calm. The sky was turning darker, soft indigo spilling in from the edges. The first stars were starting to blink awake, shy and tiny, as though they were a little nervous about being seen from the cave mouth. He could see the valley stretching gently below. Trees swayed softly, their leaves whispering to one another. Fireflies flickered above the grass like bits of fallen starlight. Far away, a small village lay tucked between hills, its lanterns coming on one by one. Ollie's eyes grew a little wider. Night had always fascinated him, not because it was dark, but because it was quiet. Lyra lay down at the cave entrance, curling her long body so that her tail wrapped around the side. It formed a kind of soft railing. Ollie climbed on top of her tail and sat there like it was a cushion seat just for him. He looked up at the sky. The night river was beginning to appear, a silver streak, faint at first, then flowing slowly into view. "Wow," he whispered. Lyra watched him. "Pleased, you know," she said gently. "There was a time when you were afraid of the dark." Ollie blinked. "Me?" "Yes," Lyra said. "When you were only a few days old, you used to cry whenever the sun went down. You thought the darkness meant everything was disappearing." Ollie tilted his head. He didn't remember that. "But it didn't disappear," he said. "No," Lyra answered. "Some things only appear when it's dark. Like the stars, fireflies, lanterns, and your fire, little one." Ollie looked down at his paws, thoughtful. He took a small breath and then, carefully, he exhaled. A soft little ball of fire drifted from his mouth, glowing like a sleepy candle. It floated slowly into the air and hovered right in front of his nose. It was warm, but not hot. Instead of making sparks, it shed a gentle golden light in a small circle. Ollie reached out a paw and touched it. It bounced slightly, like a bubble made of light. He giggled. "It's squishy." Lyra chuckled, her eyes bright. "See? Your fire belongs to the night. It doesn't roar and crackle like grown dragon fire. It doesn't scorch or scare. It glows. Your fire tells the dark that it doesn't have to be frightening. It can be cozy. Ollie's chest warmed a little. In the place where his tiny dragon heart thumped, he watched as the little ball of fire floated higher and slowly faded into sparkles. I like that, he said softly. For a while, they sat in companionable silence. The night river grew brighter overhead, pouring across the sky in a wide, glowing arc. The stars around it twinkled like handfuls of glitter tossed across velvet. Down below, the village lights flickered gently. A dog barked once, then quieted. A distant owl hooted. Everything seemed to be settling into its nighttime rhythm. Lyra closed her eyes halfway. You know, Ollie, she began, when dragons grow, so does their fire. Some dragons have brave fire. Some have wild fire. Some have dancing fire. We don't choose our fire, but we can choose how we use it. What kind of fire do I have? Ollie asked sleepily, his voice already softer than before. Lyra's tail curled a bit tighter around him, as if giving a hug. You, she whispered, have comfort fire. The kind of fire that makes caves feel like home. The kind of fire that helps others fall asleep. Ollie blinked. My fire helps people sleep? Lyra nodded. Have you noticed how calm you feel when you blow your little flames? Ollie thought back. He remembered the quiet feeling that always followed when his fire puffballs floated around the cave, lighting up the feathers and moss. He remembered feeling safe, like the world had tucked in around him. Would it make others feel that way too? He asked softly. I believe it would, Lyra said. Ollie looked back at the valley. He wondered if anyone down there ever had trouble falling asleep. Little human children, tossing and turning in their beds. Animals who felt nervous about the dark. Birds rustling their feathers. Tiny creatures in burrows peeking out of their holes. The idea that his tiny sleepy fire might help them made his heart glow brighter than his flame. He yawned generously, his mouth stretching wide. Another puff of soft fire floated out, this time splitting into two tiny glowing spheres. They drifted apart and tumbled playfully through the air like lazy fireflies. Lyra watched them with a proud smile. You're growing, she murmured. Even if you still nap more than you stay awake. Ollie's head drooped, his body sinking slightly into the warm curve of her tail. He blinked slowly, sleepiness washing over him like a soft blanket. Mom, he asked. Yes, little Ember? Do you think, one night, maybe I could help someone sleep? Not just me? Lyra's eyes softened with deep affection. I think that is exactly what you're meant to do, she replied. But for now, you must rest, so your fire stays warm. Ollie opened his mouth as if to answer, then yawned instead. His eyes fluttered closed halfway. The night river twinkled lazily above. The valley below shimmered softly. The cave behind him glowed gently with crystals and leftover light. Lyra lifted him carefully in her claws and placed him back into his nest of feathers and moss. He curled up automatically, tail tucking under, paws pulling close to his chest. She nuzzled the top of his head. "Good night, my sleepy dragon," she whispered. "Good night," he mumbled, words blurring together instinctively. As he relaxed, he breathed out one last tiny puff of sleepy fire. It floated upward and hovered above his nest, casting a soft golden glow over his bed, like a floating nightlight. Ollie's breathing grew slow and steady. Outside, the night settled fully over the valley. The stars shone. The night river flowed across the sky. The village quieted, one window light turning off after another, and in the Dragon Mountain, in a gentle cave, a baby dragon with comfort fire slept beneath a tiny floating orb of warm, sleepy light, dreaming about the night when his fire might help someone else drift softly into dreams. He didn't know when that night would come, but the meadow, the village, and the sky seemed to know. They watched over him quietly, waiting. The next evening arrived softly, wrapping the valley in a blanket of lavender blue light. The day had been warm, and now the cooling air drifted through the Dragon Mountain's cave like a tired sigh settling into sleep. Fireflies shimmered lazily in the distance, crickets began their nightly chorus, and the faint hum of the nearby waterfall blended everything into a peaceful lullaby. Inside the cozy cave, Ollie the sleepy baby dragon stirred from his nap. His wings gave a tiny twitch, his tail curled and uncurled like a sleepy snake. One of his feet kicked gently in the air, brushing against a feather in his nest. Then his eyes blinked open, slow, foggy, and as soft as moonlight. A tiny glowing puffball escaped his nose as he yawned. It floated upward, glowing a buttery gold before fading into specks of light. Ollie stretched both paws above his head. "Okay? I'm awake," he whispered to no one in particular, but he wasn't all the way awake. Not yet. His mother, Lyra, was perched near the cave entrance, her emerald scales shimmering faintly in the dusk. She had been polishing one of her long wings with her claws, but when she heard the little puff of sleepy fire behind her, she turned with a warm smile. "There you are, little Ember," she said. "Did you sleep well?" Ollie rubbed one eye, then nodded slowly. "I dreamed I was sitting on a cloud that tasted like marshmallows." Lyra chuckled. "Dream clouds often do." Ollie climbed out of his nest, wobbling slightly as he walked on his chubby legs. The magic in the evening air buzzed gently against his scales, making him feel lighter and more alert, but just a little. He wandered toward the cave entrance, and Lyra lowered her head to let him climb up the smooth curve of her tail. She always made sure he could see the sky without having to stand too close to the edge. Outside, the valley was bathed in a twilight glow. The first stars had begun waking up, flickering softly like tiny lanterns. The trees whispered secrets to each other in the breeze. And far, far below, the village lanterns were beginning to sparkle on rooftops and windows. Ollie gazed at the scene with sleepy wonder. "Mom," he murmured, "do the stars ever get tired of blinking?" "I imagine they do," Lyra replied. "Which is why they blink slowly. Like breathing." Ollie nodded as if this made perfect sense. A moment later, the wind shifted, carrying with it a faint sound. A soft, distant humming, almost like a lullaby. Ollie perked up, his ears twitching. "What's that?" he asked softly. Lyra tilted her head. Probably the wind brushing through pine needles. Or the waterfall echoing tonight. But Ollie shook his head. No, it's softer. Like someone singing. He listened hard, his eyes narrowing in concentration. Yes. There it was again. A gentle hum drifting from the forest at the base of the mountain. Curious little sparks fluttered in his chest. Can I go see what it is? He asked, eyes wide and hopeful. Lyra's expression softened, but she shook her head. Not alone, Ollie. The forest can be confusing at night, even for grown dragons. And you, I know, he interrupted gently. I get sleepy. Lyra nuzzled him lovingly. It's not a bad thing. But your wings are still learning. And sleepy wings don't always remember which way is home. Ollie sighed softly that he knew she was right, but the whispering song tugged at him. Maybe tomorrow night, Lyra said. When I'm done with gathering the morning herbs. Ollie nodded, but inside him, curiosity swirled like warm mist. That he watched the valley, that he listened to the hum. He felt something gentle calling him. After a few minutes, Lyra stretched her long body. Ollie, I'm going to collect a few crystals deeper inside the cave. Stay near the entrance. I'll be right back. Ollie nodded. Lyra disappeared inside, her scales glimmering in the faint light. The moment she vanished from view, the soft humming grew clearer. Ollie's tiny heart fluttered. It felt like the sound was calling his name, a warm, floating melody made of moonlight. He stepped off the curve of his mother's tail. He waddled toward the entrance. The cool air brushed his scales, and slowly, quietly, with a sleepy wobble, Ollie stepped outside the cave. For the first time alone, the ground felt different beneath his paws. Not mossy and soft like the cave, but covered with tiny stones that clicked under his weight. He looked around nervously at first, his wings twitching, but the humming sound drifted again, gentle. Sweet. Safe, Ollie followed it, step by step, down the mountain path. He took his time, because everything felt new, the tall grass brushing his legs, the distant glow of fireflies, the softness of the night breeze. He wasn't scared. He was curious. Soon, Ollie reached the bottom of the mountain, where the trees rose tall and comforting. Their branches swayed gently, guiding him like slow-moving arms. The humming was louder now, but still soft, still warm, still peaceful. He waddled deeper. Owls blinked sleepily from their branches, watching the little dragon with mild surprise. None had ever seen such a chubby, glowing young dragon before, especially one walking alone with his wings drooping like half-open umbrellas. Ollie paid no attention. He followed the sound until he reached a clearing filled with moonlit flowers that glowed faint blue, and in the center of that clearing, sitting on a smooth rock, was a small creature Ollie had never seen before. It was no bigger than a squirrel. Its fur shimmered like silver snow. Its ears were long, gently curled, and glowing faintly, and it was humming a lullaby, a soft, comforting tune that floated like feathers in the air. Ollie blinked in awe. The creature turned and smiled. Oh, it said in a gentle voice. A baby dragon. And a sleepy one too. Ollie wobbled closer. Are you singing? Yes, the creature replied with a little bow. My name is Mira, and I am a lullaby hare. What? A creature who sings comfort into the night. I help forest animals drift into sleep. Ollie's eyes widened. You sing to help others sleep? Mira nodded. It is my gift. My ears pick up restless hearts, and my song brings calm. Ollie felt a warm puff rise in his chest. I want to help others sleep too. The lullaby hare tilted her head, studying the tiny dragon's glow. She said softly, your fire is warm. And gentle. And sleepy. That makes you a comfort dragon. Ollie gasped. Is that a real thing? It is, Mira said with a smile. Rare, but real. Ollie glowed brighter for a moment, proud, surprised, shy, happy, all at once. Would you like to sing with me? Mira asked. Ollie blinked. I don't know how to sing. That's all right, Mira said. Your fire can sing for you. Ollie tilted his head. My fire? Mira nodded. Blow gently. Ollie inhaled softly, then he exhaled, and a tiny puffball floated out. But this time, something was different. The puffball didn't drift randomly. It expanded slowly, glowing like a tiny lantern, and began to hum softly, a vibration that matched Myra's melody perfectly. Ollie gasped softly, my fire is singing? Mira nodded with joy. Yes. Sleep fire hums when it feels safe and loved. You have a rare gift, little dragon. Ollie's chest filled with warmth. He tried again. Another puffball formed, then another. Soon, 5 or 6 tiny glowing spheres were floating around the clearing, humming softly in harmony with Myra's lullaby. The trees leaned closer, the flowers glowed brighter, the animals nearby relaxed into deep breaths. The entire clearing became a cocoon of calm. Ollie felt pride for the first time, warm, gentle pride that didn't burn or roar. It glowed like a soft fire, but then a breeze stirred suddenly. The humming of the puffballs flickered, and Ollie felt a wave of tiredness crash over him. He wobbled. Mira rushed to his side. Careful! Comfort dragons must not wander too far alone. Your fire uses your energy, and when you grow sleepy, it dims. Ollie tried to keep his eyes open, but they drooped. I just wanted to help someone, he murmured. And you did, Mira whispered. The puffballs flickered out one by one. Mira hopped closer to support him. I'll walk you back. Ollie blinked drowsily. Thank you, but before they could take even 2 steps, the sound of wings filled the clearing. Powerful, graceful, unmistakable Ollie. Lyra swooped down from above, her emerald scales flashing with worry. She landed beside them, her huge wings folding with a sharp rustle. Mama, Ollie whispered weakly. Lyra wrapped her body around him instantly. Oh, my little Ember, she breathed, you wandered too far. You used too much fire. You're exhausted. Mira stepped back respectfully and bowed. He is gifted, she said gently. But still young. Lyra nodded, her voice softening. I know. Thank you for keeping him safe. Ollie snuggled into his mother's warm scales. Mom! I sang, with my fire, Lyra smiled, eyes warm with wonder and love. Yes, she whispered, and the world heard you. She lifted him carefully and carried him back toward the mountain. The forest hummed softly behind them, the moon shone brighter overhead, and Ollie, nestled against his mother, drifted into a warm, safe sleep before they even reached the cave. Tonight, he had taken his first step into the world. Tonight, his fire had sung for someone else. Tonight, the world had begun to understand him, and tomorrow, well, tomorrow would bring new dreams. The next evening arrived with a cool, gentle hush across the valley. The sky was brushed with soft lavender and pale gold, fading slowly toward blue as the night yawned awake. Crickets warmed their voices with little chirps. Fireflies drifted lazily. Even the trees swayed in slow, sleepy rhythms inside the Dragon Mountain. Ollie slept deeply that he had slept all day, curled tightly into his warm feather nest. After his nighttime adventure with Mira, the Lullaby Hare, he had been more tired than ever. His tiny paws twitched now and then as he dreamed. His soft wings drooped over his face. Every few minutes he let out a small snore that sounded like a kitten sighing inside a teacup. Lyra watched him fondly. She had been worried when she found him in the forest. The world outside the cave was big, wide, and full of shadows. But Ollie had also surprised her, the strength of his gentle fire, the sweetness of his glowing puffballs, the way they hummed alongside Myra's lullaby that he was growing, in his own small, soft way. Just before the stars began to peek out, Ollie stirred her first. One eye opened, then the other, then both closed again. Lyra laughed quietly. Awake, little ember? Almost, he mumbled, his wings drooped like sleepy curtains. Ollie, Lyra said softly, tonight something special is happening. Something you've never seen before. Ollie's head lifted slowly. What is it? The stars, she said, are gathering over the valley. They do this only once every few years. They get sleepy, just like you. And when they grow tired, they drift lower in the sky. Ollie's eyes widened a little. The stars fall asleep? Lyra nodded. Yes. And when they sleep, their light becomes softer, dimmer. The sky glows like a blanket of tiny nightlights. Many creatures gather to watch. Ollie's little heart fluttered. Mama, can we go see them? Lyra smiled and lifted him onto her tail. Of course. Together, they stepped outside the cave. The air that greeted them was soft and cool, brushing gently against their scales. The valley below looked peaceful, glowing faintly from lanterns in the human village and the last embers of sunset. Ollie stretched his wings. He felt more energetic than the night before, not fully awake, but comfortably drowsy, his sleepy fire traits. The sky overhead had begun to change. A soft silver haze drifted across the dark blue sky. Stars twinkled faintly, their light not sharp, but blurred like sleepy eyes blinking slowly. Wow, Ollie whispered. Lyra lowered her head beside him. The stars feel safe tonight. When they do, they come closer. Ollie watched as the night river shimmered, the silver band across the sky thickening softly like a blanket being fluffed. The beauty of it made Ollie's chest warm, but as they watched, the stars suddenly flickered, not gently, but sharply like lanterns losing flame. Several stars dimmed for a moment. All at once, Ollie gasped, "Mama, are the stars okay?" Lyra frowned slightly. "I'm not sure, little one." And then a ripple spread across the sky, a trembling shimmer, like a wave crossing a pond. But this wave made the stars flicker again, longer this time. Lyra stood very still, listening, her wings raised slightly, her breath quieted. "Mama?" Ollie whispered, pressing against her tail. Lyra turned slowly toward the valley. "Ollie, the stars are falling asleep too early." "Is that bad?" Ollie asked, his voice tiny. "It means," Lyra said calmly, "that something in the valley is disturbing their rhythm." Ollie blinked. "Like what?" Lyra lowered herself so that her huge head was level with her son. "Ollie, stars fall asleep when someone or something is singing too strongly." Ollie tilted his head. "Like what Mira does?" "Yes," Lyra said softly. "But stronger. Much stronger. Too strong." Ollie felt a small shiver climb up his spine. "Mama, do you think Mira is okay?" Lyra looked toward the forest. "I think we should check." Ollie's wings perked up nervously. "Can we help her?" he asked. Lyra smiled gently. "If her lullaby has accidentally grown too strong, then yes. And only one type of creature can calm an oversung lullaby." Ollie swallowed. "A comfort dragon?" Lyra touched her nose to his forehead affectionately. "Yes, little Ember." Ollie took a slow breath, but he wasn't brave like big dragons. He wasn't strong. He didn't breathe fire that roared like thunder. But he did have sleepy fire, fire that hummed, fire that comforted, fire that made the dark feel warm. Maybe tonight, that was enough. Lyra lowered her wing. "Climb on, Ollie." Ollie scrambled onto her back, nestling between two ridges on her scales. He held on tightly as Lyra spread her wings, large, powerful, shimmering wings that caught the moonlight. With one smooth motion, she leapt into the air. Ollie clung to her happily as the ground fell away. The wind rushed past them, cool and calm. The trees below shrank into a blanket of dark green. Lyra flew low toward the forest. As they approached, Ollie could feel it. The air was buzzing, not angrily, not dangerously, but sleepily. Over sleepily. A lullaby hung in the air, soft but too strong, like a blanket that was too heavy. The trees drooped, the fireflies blinked slowly, even the grass seemed to sway in drowsy waves. "It's too sleepy," Ollie whispered. Lyra landed gently at the edge of the clearing where they had found Mira the night. Before the flowers were glowing faintly, their petals half closed. The animals nearby were snoring softly. but deeply, as if they couldn't wake up even if they tried, and in the center of the clearing, curled atop the smooth stone, was Mira. Her long ears drooped limply, her breathing was slow, and the humming was loud, too loud to it vibrated through the ground, through the leaves, through Ollie's bones. Lyra frowned. She's trapped in her own lullaby. Ollie hopped off her back and approached Mira carefully. Mira, he whispered. Her eyes didn't open. The humming grew stronger. The stars overhead flickered again. Lyra stepped closer. If this continues, the entire valley will fall asleep, stars and all. Ollie felt something pull at his chest. He had to help. He stepped forward until he was right beside Mira. His wings trembled slightly, but he didn't back away. He breathed in and breathed out. A tiny puffball floated from his mouth, but instead of drifting away, it hovered over Mira, then split into 3 puffballs, then 6. They glowed softly, humming gently, not stronger, not louder, quieter, calmer. The big lullaby humming softened ever so slightly. Lyra gasped softly. Ollie, your sleep fire is calming her song. Ollie inhaled again. Another puffball floated up, glowing warm, gentle gold. The clearing brightened softly. The grass perked up. The lullaby lost some of its heaviness. Ollie stepped closer, nuzzling Mira gently with his forehead. Mira, it's okay, he whispered. You can rest now. He exhaled. A large puffball floated out, the biggest he had ever made, glowing like a tiny sun. It hovered above Mira, and slowly descended, until it touched her chest. The moment it did, her humming shivered, wavered, softened, and then faded into silence. Myra's ears twitched, her eyes fluttered open. Ollie, she said weakly. Ollie smiled sleepily. Hi. Mira sat up slowly, rubbing her temples. Oh dear. I sang myself into a lullaby loop, she murmured. I didn't mean to lull the whole valley. Lyra chuckled warmly. Everyone gets carried away sometimes. Mira looked at Ollie, her silver eyes shimmering. And you saved me. Ollie shuffled shyly, his wings drooping. I just breathed. Mira laughed softly. You breathed comfort. Above them, the stars brightened again, twinkling softly, relieved. The night river shimmered more gently. The sky steadied. The valley exhaled. Lyra lowered her head to nuzzle Ollie. You did wonderfully, she whispered. Tonight, your fire helped the whole sky. Ollie yawned. An enormous, squeaky yawn. A puffball drifted out, glowing faintly. Mira laughed. And now you need sleep. Ollie nodded sleepily. Lyra lifted him onto her back. Come, little Ember. You've done enough for tonight. As they flew home, Ollie nestled into her warm scales. He gazed sleepily at the stars, no longer flickering, now glowing steadily like peaceful lanterns. Mama, he whispered. Yes, Ollie? Do you think I really helped the stars sleep better? Lyra smiled softly. I think, she whispered, that tonight you showed the stars how to sleep. Ollie's eyes closed, his chest rose and fell softly, and before they reached the cave, before Lyra even touched down at home, Ollie drifted into a deep, peaceful dream wrapped in warmth, pride, and the soft glow of his sleepy little fire. The next day drifted by quietly inside the mountain cave after his big adventure calming Myra's lullaby and steadying the sleepy stars. Ollie slept almost the entire day. His chubby paws twitched now and then, and his wings fluttered softly as though dreaming of floating puffballs. Lyra checked on him often, resting her tail gently around his nest as she polished her scales or rearranged new feathers to keep his bed soft. She knew little dragons grew not just from eating, but from dreaming. When evening approached, warm light spilled into the cave. It was sunset, a soft curtain of peach, lavender, and sleepy gold stretching across the sky. The light reached through the cave entrance like gentle fingers, touching Ollie's nose. He wrinkled it, then sneezed. A tiny puffball burst out of his nostrils. It hovered in the air, blinking like a sleepy firefly. Lyra laughed softly. "Good evening, little Ember." Ollie blinked, his eyes open, heavy and slow as always. He yawned, stretching his tiny arms until his claws clicked in the air. His wings drooped sleepily. "Mama, is it night already?" Lyra nodded. "Almost. The stars are waking." Ollie rubbed his eyes. "Did they sleep well last night?" Lyra smiled. "Thanks to you." Ollie's cheeks warmed. He still couldn't believe it, his sleepy puffballs helping stars steady themselves. It made his heart flutter every time he thought about it. He waddled toward the cave entrance where Lyra was perched. The smell of pine trees drifted in through the entrance. The valley below shimmered with the beginning of twilight. Ollie climbed onto her tail and gazed out, but something looked strange. The valley was darkening, faster than usual. The trees were swaying in slow, uneasy motions. The birds had fallen silent. Even the crickets seemed to chirp more quietly. "Mama," he whispered. "Why does everything look scared?" Lyra frowned slightly, her emerald eyes narrowing. "The mountain," she murmured. "What about it?" Ollie asked, his wings drooping nervously. Lyra took a slow breath. "Every now and then, the whispering mountain speaks." Ollie blinked. "Speaks? Like, with words?" "No," Lyra chuckled softly. "With feelings." Ollie tried to understand. "Feelings?" Lyra nodded. "Dragons have known this mountain longer than any creature in the valley. Sometimes, when something is out of balance, too much fear, too much noise, too much silence, the mountain whispers through the wind." Ollie's small claws tightened around her tail. "What kind of whisper?" Lyra turned her head slightly. "A warning. Or a request. Something gentle, but serious." Ollie swallowed. "Is it whispering now?" Lyra closed her eyes, listening. Not a long, slow wind moved across the entrance of the cave. It didn't feel cold. It didn't feel warm. It felt tired. Ollie shivered. "It feels sad." Lyra nodded. "That is exactly why we must go see what's wrong." Ollie's wings trembled. "Me too?" Lyra nuzzled him gently. "Yes. You helped Mira. You steadied the stars. The mountain might need your comfort fire too. Ollie's chest thumped nervously, but also proudly. He inhaled deeply, and a tiny puffball floated out. It drifted slowly, glowing faintly. Lyra smiled. See? Even now, your fire knows what to do. With one graceful motion, she lowered her wing. Climb on, my little ember. Ollie scrambled onto her back, nestling into the dip between two warm scales. Lyra spread her wings, and with a powerful leap, she lifted into the sky. Sparkles the whispering wind as they flew across the valley. Ollie felt it more clearly, the strange sadness in the air, drifting like invisible mist. The wind didn't blow sharply. It didn't howl. It simply sighed, over and over. The trees below swayed slowly in response, their branches drooping. Fireflies flickered uncertainly. Even the river seemed to flow more sluggishly, as though it too had become sleepy in the wrong way. Mama, Ollie whispered, hugging her scales. I don't like this feeling. Lyra's voice was calm, steady, warm. It's okay to not like it. But we must understand it. As they approached the far side of the mountain, the air changed again, growing thicker and heavier, as though something ancient was humming just beneath the earth. Lyra landed gently at a high ledge where the rock formed a natural archway. From here, they could see a deep hollow in the mountainside, a place dragons called the first nest. Long ago, Lyra said softly, dragons raised their babies here. Before we learned to make caves. Ollie blinked. Really? Even sleepy dragons like me? Lyra laughed. Especially sleepy ones. Ollie smiled shyly. They stepped inside. The first nest was wide and circular, with stones arranged like natural seats facing inward. The air shimmered faintly with ancient dragon magic, soft, warm, comforting, but tonight it shimmered with something else, something unsettled. Ollie felt it instantly. It trembled. A quiet vibration in the stone. Why is it shaking? Ollie whispered. Lyra lowered her head. It's not shaking. It's whispering. Ollie pressed his tiny ear to the stone. At first he heard nothing, then thrum, 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 a slow heartbeat like pulsed. It wasn't scary, but it was sad, like someone crying in their sleep. Ollie's eyes widened. Mama, the mountain is sad. Lyra nodded gently. And we must learn why. Ollie felt a tug deep inside his chest. His sleepy fire stirred, as if reacting naturally to the mountain's sadness. Mama, I think my fire wants to help. Lyra stepped aside. Then go ahead, little ember. Speak to it. Ollie waddled toward the center of the nest. He inhaled slowly and exhaled gently. A tiny puffball floated out, but this time something strange happened. As it glowed, the mountain's whisper changed. Thrum, thrum, pause, thrum. The puffball drifted downward until it touched the stone. The stone brightened faintly, gently. Then the whisper changed again, not sad, not happy, curious, almost like a soft "oh." Ollie looked at Lyra. It noticed me, yes, Lyra whispered. It recognizes comfort fire. Ollie's heart fluttered like tiny wings. He inhaled again, exhaled another puffball. It drifted down, touched the stone, and dissolved in a shimmer of gold. The mountain whispered again, louder. Thrum, 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 thm. Ollie felt something warm rise up through the stone, into his tiny paws. A feeling. A message. A picture, not in words, but in emotions. He gasped, Mama, the mountain is lonely. Lyra's eyes softened. Lonely? Ollie nodded, clutching his paws to his chest. It says, it hasn't heard any dragon voices in this nest. Not for a very, very long time. Lyra lowered her gaze. It's true. The old dragons moved to the cave systems centuries ago. This nest became empty. Ollie felt his chest ache. He knew loneliness. He knew what it felt like to want someone warm nearby. He walked to the very center, placed both paws on the stone, and whispered, You're not alone. His voice was tiny, but it echoed like a promise. He inhaled deeply, then let out his biggest puffball yet. Warm, glowing, amber-gold. It floated upward, then drifted downward, down, until it settled gently into the stone center. The stone glowed. A golden light spread like soft rays through the cracks in the nest. The heartbeat whisper softened, calmed, brightened. Lyra gasped softly. Ollie, you comforted the mountain itself. Ollie wobbled sleepily, his wings drooping. Mama, I feel tired. Lyra caught him immediately, lifting him into her warm claws. You did so well, she whispered. Even the earth feels peaceful again. As they stepped out into the open ledge, Ollie looked up. The stars overhead had brightened. The night river shimmered more calmly. The valley below glowed gently. As though exhaling, Ollie pressed his cheek against Lyra's chest. Mama, did I really help the mountain not feel lonely anymore? Lyra nuzzled him tenderly. You reminded it that dragons still live here. And that a little dragon with a sleepy fire still cares. Ollie closed his eyes, comforted inside and out. Lyra lifted off the ledge and carried him home through the quiet air. The night seemed softer now, warm, balanced, safe. When they reached their cave, Lyra placed Ollie lovingly into his feather nest. He curled instantly, his tail tucking beneath him. A final puffball drifted from his nose as he murmured, Mama, I think my fire likes helping things, Lyra whispered gently, and the world likes being helped by you. Before she could finish the sentence, Ollie had already drifted into deep, gentle dreams. Outside, the whispering mountain hummed quietly, a peaceful, content vibration, because tonight a baby dragon with a sleepy fire had soothed even the heart of the earth. The valley was peaceful this evening, so peaceful that even the river sounded like it was whispering instead of rushing. The stars blinked slowly in the deep blue sky, glowing like soft lanterns hung by careful hands. The wind drifted in gentle circles, carrying cool pine-scented air into the dragon cave. Inside that cave, Ollie yawned louder than he ever had before. His wings flopped open like tired curtains. His tail curled lazily around his nest. His silver-speckled scales shimmered faintly in the dim crystal light. Lyra, his mother, stood nearby, sorting shiny stones into little piles, humming a quiet tune. As Ollie blinked awake, he rubbed his tiny eyes with both paws. Mama, he asked in a low, sleepy voice. Is it night again already? Lyra laughed softly. It seems to come faster every day for a growing dragon. Ollie stood and wobbled, his feet sinking into the soft feather pile of his nest. I had a dream, he said, still half in it. I saw numbers of puffballs, hundreds of them, floating everywhere like fireflies. Lyra's eyes warmed. Your fire does like to dream with you. Ollie waddled toward her tail and climbed onto it for his usual nightly perch. His wings drooped over the sides, still not quite strong enough to fold tightly, but they fluttered every now and then like baby blankets caught in the wind. As he reached the entrance, he noticed something unusual outside. The valley was dimmer than normal, not dark, not gloomy, just muted. The light from the stars seemed weaker, the glow from the fireflies lower. Even the soft lanterns in the village below looked smaller than usual. Mama, Ollie whispered. Why is the valley sleepy? Lyra tilted her head and inhaled. She closed her eyes as she listened to the night. It feels, she murmured, like something is gathering its dreams. Ollie blinked. Whose dreams? Lyra looked at him with a soft, meaningful gaze. Everyone's. Ollie tilted his head, confused. Everyone? Yes, Lyra said. Every creature in the valley, birds, rabbits, humans, moths, even the stars, they all fall asleep differently. But once in a very long time, something special happens. Ollie leaned against her scales. What special thing? Lyra curled her tail gently around him and whispered, once every century, the great dream visits the valley. Ollie gasped. The great dream? Lyra nodded. It is a dream so big, so gentle, so warm, that the entire valley shares it at the same time. Trees dream of old roots. Rivers dream of ancient stones. Humans dream of soft childhood nights. Even stars close their eyes just for a moment and drift. Ollie's eyes widened. Everyone dreams together? Yes, Lyra said softly. But this time, it seems to be arriving early. The dream is gathering itself, and the valley must be ready. Ollie felt a tingle inside his chest, like a spark lighting softly. Mama, why does the valley need to be ready? Because, Lyra said gently, the great dream cannot begin until everything is calm. Completely calm. Even the smallest fear, or the tiniest worry, can stop the dream from landing. Ollie swallowed. But how do we calm the whole valley? Lyra turned toward him with eyes full of love and certainty. Ollie, it may be that the valley needs your fire. Ollie's mouth fell open. My fire? My sleepy fire? Lyra nodded. Comfort fire is rare. And tonight, the valley needs comfort more than ever. Ollie's wings sagged nervously. But Mama, I'm just a baby. Lyra placed her warm nose against his forehead. You've calmed a lonely mountain. You've soothed a lullaby hare. You've steadied the sleepy stars. Ollie blinked with surprise. He hadn't realized he'd done all that, but calming a whole valley, he whispered. That's huge. Lyra smiled. Even huge things can be soothed by small fire. Ollie took a deep breath. His chest glowed softly. I want to help, he whispered. Lyra nodded proudly. Then let us begin. Sparkles the valley of night. Felengius. Lyra lowered her wing and Ollie climbed onto her back. The cool wind brushed against their scales as she rose into the sky with one mighty flap. Below, the valley stretched wide and quiet. The trees swayed slowly, like sleepy dancers. Of the river shimmered faintly, almost dull. The fireflies floated low, as though heavy with drowsiness. As they flew over the village, Ollie noticed something strange. In the windows of homes, children tossed in their beds. Their parents walked softly, lighting lanterns. Dogs whined, cats huddled near doors. And no one could sleep peacefully. The great dream was coming, but the valley's hearts were unsettled. Lyra landed gently in the center of the valley, close to the riverbed. The ground felt strange beneath Ollie's paws, warm, like someone had wrapped a blanket of magic beneath the soil. Ollie looked around. What do I do? He whispered. Lyra wrapped her tail around him protectively. Listen, Ollie. Your fire reacts to feelings. All you need to do is breathe. Ollie nodded nervously. He closed his eyes. He inhaled, slowly, gently, and exhaled. A puffball floated out. It glowed softly, then it drifted upward slowly, tenderly, and burst into drifting gold sparkles over the trees. The trees sighed. A little calmer. Ollie felt it in his chest. He inhaled again, exhaled. Another puffball floated out. This one drifted to the river, touching the water with a gentle fizz of golden light. The river brightened. A bit more lively. Lyra smiled. Good, very good. Ollie continued, puff after puff. Some touched the trees, some touched the river, some touched the ground. One drifted toward a house where a crying baby had trouble sleeping. The puffball reached the window, and the baby stopped crying. The lantern dimmed. A soft sigh drifted from inside. Ollie felt warmth rise through him. I'm doing it, he whispered. I'm helping them sleep, Lyra nodded. Yes, little Ember. You are. But then the wind shifted. A sudden wave of sadness drifted through the valley. It wasn't loud, it wasn't sharp. It was soft, but heavy. Ollie gasped. Mama, what is that feeling? Lyra listened carefully. Her wings tightened. Her eyes glowed with gentle understanding. That, Ollie, she whispered, is the last piece of the great dream. The dream itself is sad. Ollie blinked. Dreams can be sad? Lyra nodded. Before the great dream can enter the valley, it releases all the worries it has collected across the world, small, old, forgotten feelings. The valley must warm those feelings, so the dream can settle. Ollie's eyes softened. He knew sadness. He had felt lonely sometimes before he understood his fire. He knew what it meant to need comfort. He stepped forward. I want to help the dream. The wind drifted softly. Almost like a sigh of relief, Lyra lowered her head. Then go ahead, little ember. Let your fire speak. Ollie closed his eyes. He inhaled deeply, deeper than he ever had before, and exhaled. A puffball emerged, big, glowing, warm like a tiny sunit rose slowly, spreading golden light over the trees, over the river, over the houses, over the valley. The sadness trembled, hummed, softened, then drifted away. The great dream shimmered above the valley like a soft cloud, and gently, silently, it settled. The trees relaxed. The river calmed. Every house in the village dimmed its lanterns one by one. Animals curled into their beds. Birds tucked their heads under their wings. Even the fireflies landed on leaves and closed their glowing eyes. The entire valley fell into one shared, comforting dream. Lyra looked down at Ollie, her voice thick with pride. You did it, she whispered. You helped the whole valley sleep. Ollie wobbled. I did? Yes, Lyra said softly. And the great dream will remember your fire for 100 years. Ollie blinked sleepily. Can I dream too? Lyra picked him up gently in her claws. My little ember, she whispered, you will dream the warmest dream of all. She carried him back up to the cave. The air shimmered with quiet joy. The stars glowed softly overhead, dimming themselves kindly so the valley's dream wouldn't be disturbed. Lyra placed Ollie into his nest of feathers. He curled up instantly, tail tucked beneath him. His sleepy fire puffed one last tiny orb that floated above his nest like a nightlight. Lyra nuzzled him. Good night, Ollie. Ollie murmured, Mama, did I really help everyone dream? Lyra smiled softly. Yes, she said. And tonight, the valley dreams of you. Before she finished speaking, Ollie was already asleep. His chest rose and fell, his little wings relaxed, his scales shimmered faintly. Outside, the valley dreamed deeply, peacefully, wrapped in the comfort flame of the tiniest dragon the mountain had ever known. And so ended the night of the great dream. But for Ollie, it was only the beginning of many gentle, sleepy adventures.